Welcome to Not a Great Whisperer podcast. This is your host, Katie Ray. I am joined with the founder of Sunny Collabs, Kayla Goldman. Super hard last name to pronounce, but I got it. Thanks for joining me. So I am so excited to have Kayla. Not only is she a woman founder, an awesome business, but she has an awesome network, and it's also Pride Month, and she's gay, so I'm super excited.
Good thing I was already out of the closet.
Oh my God,
that is how most people describe me. That's usually the first thing they say when they introduce me.
You're gay?
Yeah.
Shut up. I was like, that's horrible. I was like, well, Buzz, you are so much more than that. First of all, I am so glad you're out of the closet too. And that I already knew that, because that'd be a horrible way to out someone. So thank you.
Do you want to start the thing over?
Nope, we're doing it. Okay, so Kayla, you're here today to talk about you. I know you're like Mrs. like questions, like you like to like get to know other people too, but we're talking about you today. Mm-hmm. So let's talk about how Sunny Collabs came about, and then we'll kind of dig into some other stuff.
Yeah. So thanks so much for having me today. I appreciate it. I'm excited to have an excuse to spend a half hour with you.
Yes.
So hopefully we'll stay on track. But I came from the fitness industry. That was my background. I was in business development and management for a little over 10 years, and kind of went through, I think, what a lot of people went through during COVID and quarantine, was just taking a look and saying, like, is this how I want to spend every day? Am I in the industry I want to be in? And through COVID, I met so many people and had friends who had businesses that they were trying to navigate how to survive the pandemic, how to survive closures, what pivoting looked like. And before I knew it, I was giving advice to a lot of people, and somebody offered to pay me for it. And I was like, oh, this is what consulting is. And Sunny really started as a small business consulting company. I went, head first with it in March of 2021 and built a roster of about a dozen clients that I was helping. And at some point, all of them needed help with social media. And it seemed like that was the consistent through line with social media and Instagram and marketing and how to just portray themselves digitally. And so in August of 2021, I brought on 2 people to join me with Sunny, and we really narrowed it down to social media, influencer marketing, content creation, and events for influencers. Mm-hmm. And that is ultimately what Sunny is now.
That's so cool. Isn't it crazy to talk about?
It is so crazy to talk about. It's also just crazy to think about how fast it's grown and how many people have been there to do that with me. Like, that's the part that I was always worried about going out on my own, with like, am I going to be alone in this? Coming from the fitness industry, you tend to have pretty big staffs that are really energetic. They're ready to go at 5 a.m. They're ready to go at 10 p.m., based
Super
on what the
hype.
hours might be. Yeah, like healthy, active lifestyle, a lot of collaboration, a lot of innovation. You're in customer service. So you see, my last role, I would see sometimes between 800 and 1,000 people a day.
Shit.
So to go out on my own, I was just like, am I going to be lonely?
Yeah.
Am I going to be able to do it alone? And I never wanted to. So making that shift in August and bringing on a team, and now we're a team of, I think, almost 10 people.
So cool.
It's the coolest thing. Yeah. It's a blast.
I think it also shows just like who you are as a person, because me knowing you for the short amount of time, just like the energy you give off is kind of like the community you grow around you. So it's super cool to just watch this come to fruition. Like I was there from the beginning. Like I was there when you signed. No, but just like
you knew this was going to happen.
I just saying. Yeah, exactly. Like I knew. No, but you know what I'm saying. Like you just have good energy, so it doesn't. I appreciate that. It's not like surprising to know that you've made it. This is basically about me now, about what I see. We've turned it all around. Year holds, We're turning this around. This is a way different interview now. So, being in the fitness industry for so long, do you feel like you kind of fell in that spot of like needing a title, or that's how you like felt like you were achieving something, as if you like grew in like either corporate atmosphere or whatever atmosphere you were in? Like, do you feel like you were in that mode at any point?
Like looking for specific titles?
Yeah, like this is what I'm fulfilled. I'll be fulfilled if I get to director or president or.
Yeah, I don't think it was ever like title driven as much as it was results driven. I always wanted to be in the room able to make an impact.
Cool.
So I didn't care if I was like at the head of the table. I just wanted to be at the table.
That's cool. That's actually a good way to see it. I like that. So now, since we've gotten really deep, let's talk about coming out.
Great. You want to talk about titles? Now we're back on titles. Yeah. What do you want to know?
Titles don't matter. Let's talk about being gay. Well, just how old you were and how important it was that you had a support system around you.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, first I want to say, like, I know that I was more fortunate than a lot of people, and I don't take that for granted. When I was in middle school was when I think I started developing language enough to know that something was a little different about me. I wasn't as boy crazy as my friends. Certain things made me nervous. I was, the most language and exposure I had to anything around sexual orientation was like from MTV.
Crazy, right?
And I actually think that I was really fortunate to grow up in an age where like I did see a lot of those first same-sex relationships and kisses on TV, or some LGBT plus people were actually becoming celebrities and, were getting like status and getting on magazine covers. And so I think really when I was in middle school is when I got the language for it. And fortunately enough, my parents were so warm and accepting to everyone that they knew in their life. That's the behavior I'd always seen modeled. So I wasn't as nervous to come out to them. I think I came out at 14. And I think that at that age, it's an awkward age for parents to talk to their kids about relationships and sexuality in general, let alone, they'd gone through it with, I have a heterosexual brother, a heterosexual sister. Like they'd gone through it with both of them. And then it got to me and I was like, well, we're going to have a different conversation. And they didn't know what to talk about, or, so they just right away, they were really concerned with was like, A, am I happy? And B, am I safe? And I think that was my first time realizing that like, maybe the world isn't as accepting as it looks on MTV. And like, am I, my mom was so nervous about me maybe telling people at school or what would someone
Hateful
do if
people.
I was holding hands with a girl in the mall or something, they were just so afraid.
Isn't that sad? That's super sad.
It is really sad. And I was actually, coming on here, I was really reflecting about it all. And I was thinking about how, again, I was so fortunate to see the rise of acceptance. And then with gay marriage being legalized after I had graduated college, and it just seemed like every year was getting better and every company was coming forward and all these things were happening. And I can't imagine, you would think it would have been harder to come out at 14 back when I did in 2004 and age myself, but I can't imagine coming out at 14 today. Like it actually seems scarier today, which is really backwards.
Scary. Yeah. You're like, what?
Talking about it. Yeah. I think about like my cousins and family friends and people I know that might like want to have that conversation with themselves, let alone someone else one day. And it's like, it's actually scarier today.
Yeah.
That to me is crazy.
It's crazy.
I was able to talk to guidance counselors and talk to teachers in high school. And I never once was terrified.
But they're going to tell your parents right away.
Now they're in a weird position. Do they need to say something? Do they need to, like, it just seems so scary.
Yeah. Yeah. Because you're telling someone you think is a safe space and then they're outing you.
Yeah.
Which is not what it's supposed to be. What's not supposed to be.
It's just crazy. It's really, really crazy. And all the, we could talk about this for hours and hours and, try not to get too political and too into things. But at the end of the day, it's like, how is this even still a conversation?
Yeah.
That's what I don't get.
Yeah.
I'm like, how are we moving backwards?
Yeah. Like from your mom's scare to like now parent scares is like real.
Yeah. And just even like think, like, is it a life-saving thing that I work for myself? Like,
you're right.
My job
be on the line
with the wrong, law passed or the wrong employer or the wrong industry. Like, it's just insane that this is still even a conversation, but it's important that people are talking about it. So people hopefully will educate themselves and know who to vote and how to vote.
You're so right though, because you're totally right. And that's why people are like, why are you so big on this topic? I'm like, because kids are at stake, like their safety is at stake. Like that is why. And, people always say my dad was super brave for coming out in his 40s. I'm like, man, that man was 40. Like, why could you not come out before? Because he was scared of you people. Like,
yeah, exactly.
Like, what? 100%. So courageous that you finally got to be yourself and nobody was attacked. Like, it's just, it is super courageous.
You shouldn't have to be brave
but you should
to be yourself.
Thank you.
Like,
that's my whole
thing.
Thank you. I wasn't explaining it correctly. I'm like, no, super courageous stuff.
Yeah, that's
But I like to actually be yourself and be a good human. You're a good human.
Yeah.
And now to be yourself, you're being super brave.
Yeah.
Thank you for being yourself.
Just love who you want to love.
That's it.
be who you want to be. It's just, why does everyone have
I think Kayla and I just nailed life. That's it.
Wrap it up.
Just let people, we're done. We're going to leave and go have a beer down the street at the brewery. But you're totally right. And it's not even, you know what I hate when people are like, I don't want to bring politics into this, but it's not. It's like, this isn't political. This is literally humanity. Like it just gets to that. That was it. Like just let people be humans. That's it. And why, when people are like, oh, Pride Month, go add your rainbow flag or trans, and I'm like, corporations who actually don't believe in it, please stop using that as your as your Facebook page. But it is important for people to know, like, we're allies, or this corporation actually accepts you, or it is actually an important month for people to realize, like, oh, okay, we still do have a community around us. Yeah,
we did a video with a lot of our influencers and our team back in March during Tampa Pride, all about how important it is to come out as an ally and be an ally year round. And when we were making that is when I realized, or I read that 83% of the world's LGBT population is still in the closet. And when you think about that, it's like, yes, it is so important to take those moments around Awareness Month, or certainly celebrating history with Pride Month. But then it's like, what do we do in July? What do we do in August? More importantly, what do we do with the polls? What do we do in November and December? So it's like, it is interesting to see how many companies will slap a rainbow on something
and not back it up.
And the dollars are going somewhere else.
Just like International Women's Day.
Yeah.
Like, okay, also, there's a pay gap.
But thank you. Yeah, no, definitely donate proceeds from the shirt. Appreciate it.
Black History Month. You also have no diversity in your whole entire company. Like, you're totally right. Like, what are you doing every other month for these causes? Yeah. But yes, Kayla for president. But I think that also, so like different groups of people, and I think being hearing impaired is a huge group of people that don't get enough assistance, or don't get enough of, like, there was a celebrity that actually had a translator with her, American Sign Language translator with her, and someone just like was like, this is what we're talking about being seen, like at like an award show, and she had a translator. Like, it was just huge. Yeah. And it's like, that's another thing that you were super young. Did you get cochlear? Like, what did you just have?
No. So back then now when a child is born, they test that child right away for hearing. Back then, I think that you were first tested in kindergarten.
Oh, for real?
Yeah. So
you're younger than me. That's crazy. I didn't even know that.
Yeah.
I'm super old, people. Go on.
Back then.
That just sounded like super old.
But so my parents had an inkling that something was a little off, and I was tested when I was 2, and they saw a moderate to profound hearing loss. So I got my first pair of hearing aids when I was 2 and began pretty, aggressive speech therapy, and I was fairly behind. And I always joke now that I make up for not talking for a couple of years. I talk a lot now.
You have made it up. It's done. Just in this 100%. Episode. So you weren't talking at all. So that's what they saw.
Yeah, I just had and I also wasn't like reactive to sounds, and had some, I saw occupational therapy for a little bit. Just was like a little late on everything because I didn't know what was going on. And so, I got my first pair when I was 2, and I had them, worn them ever since. But no, I don't have a cochlear implant.
No, okay. Like that. That's amazing, though, that your parents kind of like caught on without having like the testing of like background and everything, because you really don't know any other. That's just how, like, you actually, did you learn sign language in the home as you were hearing?
No. So none of my family like uses sign language, and nobody, had hearing losses. And so when we just went right into speech therapy, and getting hearing aids helped a ton. And then when I was in middle school, I volunteered at another middle school that had a magnet program for the deaf and hard of hearing. And so I learned sign language through that. Cool. And I don't really use it that much today, but I have it, in the event that I meet with somebody that
I think being a part of the hearing impaired community is super important too. Because when my son was super young, they kept testing his ears because he went through speech therapy, but it was more just like articulation at first, but they kept testing his hearing, and they kept going back, and I'm like, is it his hearing? Like, we've done like 75 is there a different test? He is listening sometimes. But it's really important too. I think that's of course it was a hard journey for you, but I think that's also another really important journey to share with people.
I think that also makes me is actually the first thing, long before realizing that I was gay, that actually made me more sensitive to representation and inclusion, because growing up, I never saw children with hearing aids on TV or in movies. And, you know, the media is what tells you what's normal and what's average, and certainly tells you what's beautiful. And not seeing anyone with hearing aids, you know, definitely made me feel more alone. And luckily my schools were great. My friends were great. Again, my parents were great. But every time I would hit like a milestone, like 5th grade or 8th grade, and you're getting ready to transition into a new environment, like I would definitely have a lot of anxiety and not want to wear them and be afraid that maybe I would be bullied or that somebody would make me uncomfortable or something, right? And so that was always, or that was definitely my first exposure to like, oh, there's like a whole population that's not represented at all.
Yeah, like at all.
Yeah. And then going through that again, being gay, and then being like, okay, how's the LGBTQ plus community represented in the media? What does that look like? And I think that's why, especially with Sunny, we built our team and our entire influencer network. We have over almost 700 influencers now. And we are so sensitive to making sure that everybody feels included and accepted, and that we intentionally are representing what our community looks like, not just what one group of people looks like.
I love that. See, there's a message in everything, and all purpose through pain. I'm just kidding, but like a little bit. I think so my first interaction with the whole deaf community was did not want to take Spanish at USF, and I had to take a language. So I took No. Don't know any of it. But if foreshadow, I married a Cuban, I probably should have known. I lived in Miami for 7 years, whatever. I didn't need it. I enjoyed, so I did American Sign. I did ASL, and I got to go to Starbucks and like work on my sign language with the deaf community. And it was just like so empowering, but also I'm like, why do we not represent this community so much more? Like, are you kidding me? Like the extra effort and work, and it was just such a loving atmosphere. So that was my first interaction with the deaf community, but I'm so glad I was so lazy to not learn Spanish. Sign language is super hard when you have to be focused. Like you look away for a second and you're like, okay, I missed a whole sentence. But it was like, wow, this is a really empowering community. And it was a good experience for me. But again, underrepresented, just like multiple minority groups. But
did you watch the movie Coda? On Apple TV? Yeah. Like having production studios and media companies buy and produce films like that helps everything. Right? It takes you one step further, and then to see them win awards and stuff, and I think that was a huge moment for. And now
you know kids community that were like you going through middle school, and I can see that.
Yeah. And even the children of deaf adults who are same thing. It's just representation all around. So that was really, for me, that was like I cried my eyes out, both watching the movie and also when they won. I sobbed like a little girl, a little like 12-year-old girl that I wish that movie was out when I was in middle school, You're
like, I have an ugly cry, and that was that moment for me.
100%.
Well, I like things like that too, because it brings where your purpose is coming from, why you represent everybody, why it's important for you, for your company to do that. I think it's pretty badass, Kayla. You're pretty awesome.
You're awesome.
Oh my gosh, we're having so much fun. So let's go into your foods from your culture. I thought your mom would want to hear about this. Your Jewish foods.
We do have latkes. You're 100% right.
I'm the one who reminded you of that, because potatoes make the world go round. They really do. But we just want to make sure, shout out to your mom so she knows that you do like latkes.
My mom's going to be 100% of the listens on this from my side.
100%.
Podcast.
Yeah, you're number one.
Record numbers.
Yeah, she's sending it to everyone in your
synagogue. Everybody.
Is your family still in New York?
No, my parents are down in Fort Myers.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, they moved here in late 80s. So I grew up in Florida my whole life,
But you were how old when you moved from New York?
No, my parents moved right before I was born. Oh. So they moved here in, I think, 87 or 88.
Oh, that's my story too. I was like 4, so I don't really remember it. So everyone says you have to be Florida. I get it. Okay, well, I'm glad we could do this together. The next question, so that your girlfriend can hear.
Oh, boy.
When are you guys getting married?
I told her you were going to say that. I was like, what would you do if I proposed to you on this podcast right now? I wouldn't go to an empty house. I would go home to an empty house. It would be really sad. I
love my podcast. That is not where you proposed.
Yeah, I'm like, Delilah, I have a song request.
Yes, please. This goes out to the love of my life.
I feel like we're already married, but one day we'll make it official.
Yeah.
And
you have your cats.
She'll make me the happiest person in the whole wide world.
You have your Siberian cat.
And I have my cat, and we have 2 golden retrievers.
Yeah. So you guys are, it's fine.
Yeah. We're in a house
you
together.
You guys are fine.
We wanted to do everything backwards.
We
got the pets, we got the house.
I tell people the
we'll
milestone shit is stupid. So we'll tell her that too.
It'll
it's
happen.
fine. Whatever. You guys are basically married. But will you marry me? Please check yes or no when I get home. Thank you. So with Sunny Collabs, what are your ultimate goals for this community that you're building?
Oh man, that is the big question.
Gotcha.
Now I wasn't ready. I talk about all the hard stuff, but okay. So with Sunny, I think the goal is to first and foremost just make sure that like our team stays taken care of and that there's opportunities for them to grow, which is what makes me personally really motivated at the idea of maybe bringing Sunny to other cities.
Yeah.
That's really the first thing. We look at how many small businesses we help with content creation and marketing and helping them just navigate a world that is really important to the survival of their business, but also there's so much else that they need to focus on. So if we can take that off their plate, that's something that really brings us a lot of joy. I think our goal is to keep growing our influencer network. We're starting to launch a lot of different paid opportunities, whitelisting opportunities. So the idea of helping Tampa's creative, community elevate into being able to make some, pretty nice income from this, get exposure, and do what they love to do every day, right? So I know that's kind of a wraparound answer, but the goal is just to keep growing.
How'd you get the name?
Sunny. So it's kind of not even that crazy of a story. I just think that before Sunny had its name, when I would talk with businesses, it was 100% about collaboration. It wasn't like, I'm going to come in here and I'm going to tell you everything to do. And it certainly wasn't like, I'm going to come in here and do everything for you. Mm-hmm. It was very much like, where do you need help? Where can we help? And more of a collaborative effort. And then we really built a strong B2B community. So all the brands that we work with know that they have this Rolodex of other brands that we work with. So if you need anything at all, we kind of have a roster of people that can help you. And so collabs was always really important. We collaborate with brands. We collaborate brands together. We collaborate our influencers with brands. That was a no-brainer. And then Sunny, partially, cheap answers, we're in Tampa, we're in Florida, it's bright. The other part was just Sunny has a positive and a brightness to it. And we want everybody to be their brightest self when they're with us, or that we can help them be their most authentic and bright self. And that speaks for brands and people. So then it was everybody loves a sunny day. Everybody loves, sunny afternoon.
I get all warm and fuzzy about little lame-o shit. I love stuff you're right. We're bringing, we want you to be your brightest self. We're in Florida, literally. It's always sunny. And usually you're sweating.
I feel like
so sweaty collab wasn't.
Yeah. I feel like a lot of, branding and marketing and stuff can feel very consulting, feel very sterile. Sometimes it's too clean. And for us, we're just it's real, it's colorful, it's fun. Yeah. Just come out and have a good time. And we want everybody to have that experience with us.
How cool.
Thanks.
And you're a nominee for the Business of Pride Award.
Yes.
I totally remember that randomly right now.
I think it's I don't think, maybe I'm totally wrong. I don't think somebody wins. I think it's there's a few honorees.
Yeah, you're an honoree. You're a nominee, an honoree, or whatever. It doesn't matter. You should win.
They're a winner. Do I need to compete?
Right now, you won.
Survivor.
I actually feel I don't know. I think you're right. I think it's an honoree.
Yeah.
But I love that. I think that's,
and
especially because you guys are new. It's, you just were booming super fast. So you just grew super fast and people knew about you. And you are making a difference. And that's super important with representation.
Yeah.
And you're doing it. You can have your own morals and live that through your business and your personal life. You're a good reminder of that.
Yeah. Thank you. I was, really honored to be considered. And I know our entire team was really proud and, just really special. It's cool to have, it is a young company. We're a young company. So to be recognized amongst a business journal is really, the humbling's right
what
word.
What do you do? You're just
amazing.
Yeah. And do you, on your hard days, your imposter syndrome days, how do you get out of those? Everybody has them.
I think that's the part where it's you're not alone. We've got a team. So, and I want to shout, shout them all out. But Hayden and Tess, I spend, they probably think it's too much time talking to them. But I think that there's just we've never claimed to be like the end all be all. We've never claimed to be like experts. Yep. So I feel like we've been really raw and authentic. So we've never
had to like put
overpromised anything. Yeah. So it's just been, hey, what we're not the best at, we hire for, and we hire the best at it. And what we are the best at, we stay true to. Mm-hmm. On the days that you're just like a little down and out, you just remember your why. You know, mm-hmm. like we've worked with, I think, almost 100 brands. Like we're definitely getting out of bed for more than just mm-hmm. ourselves. You know, like we have to do what we say we're going to do for them.
F yeah. In case your mom was listening, I don't want to curse at her.
Do you ever get imposter syndrome?
All the time. But I get out of it because I walk by, I'm like, you're pretty cool.
You just do some mirror manifestations or whatever. What are they called?
So I do like your mantras. Like yeah.
Like I am
beautiful.
I do.
Yeah. Some days when I'm just like, yeah, I am beautiful. No, I just sometimes I'm like, Katie, little steps. I get you there. Like just well, also I just you know, I'm still in my little corporate world while also doing I also have 1,000 things. Yeah. So I definitely get imposter syndrome a lot. But you're right. It's just remembering that you are getting up for a reason. And I like my kids to see that I do my own thing too, so that they remember that their happiness is super important.
Yeah. And having frustrations and having bad days and having confusion. I feel like that's all part of it. That means you care about what you're doing. Yeah. You know, it's not that every day is easy. It's just that every day is worth it and it's rewarding. So that's what helps us get through it.
And it's smart that you say like we have like over 100 clients. Like you remember even one is very important, but you're also providing jobs. So there's always like bigger picture things. Mm-hmm. And sometimes when you're not all the way at the bigger picture yet, you're like always getting your own way.
Yeah.
You know,
absolutely.
You know that thing. Where can we find you, Kayla? Not your home address. Not your home address.
I'm like, Heather, somebody's coming over. They're on their way.
You're selfish.
Well, you can go to sunnycollabs.com or you can find us on Instagram. We're going to be launching our TikTok soon. But the best way to keep up with us is probably through Instagram right now. IG, yeah. We're both like MySpace. You can find us on MySpace.
You're my top 8.
Yeah, you're definitely my top 8.
You're totally my top 8. You should hear my background music.
After the podcast airs, you might bump, but I'm just trying to get priority. No, but if you follow our Instagram, you'll see a lot of local business shout outs. We do event recaps. We just had a pool party at a hotel last weekend with 100 of our community. And so we just posted a video recapping that this morning. So it's just a fun way to kind of see what's happening in Tampa and then keep up with some of the different opportunities that we have.
The cool shit. You know what I'm saying?
You said it.
Also sign up on their website for updates. And also if you have over like 1,000 followers or some shit, you can be a part of their crew.
Yeah. We believe that anyone can have influence. So we encourage you to apply to be a part of our network. We do events, we do photo shoots, we do content creation, we do networking, we do a little bit of everything. The only prerequisite is that you have a public profile. But we also do things like next weekend, we're doing a professional photo shoot, headshots and portraits for business leaders. There's no posting expectations. That's not for influence. It's just for people who are looking to up their content a little bit on their websites or their media kits or their LinkedIn or whatever it might be. That we have the resources, so we want to give them to people at an affordable rate.
Look at you. Okay, well.
Are you going to come? Are you going to come get some photos?
Maybe I will. I don't know. I love photos. Look how great I look in this photo.
You kind of look like Idina Menzel. Do people ever tell you that?
What? Yep. Mm-hmm. And also Elaine. I am Elsa. Like I'm basically Elsa. Yeah, people tell her she looks like Katie Ray.
Like, oh my God.
All the time.
I'm talking
You're so ridiculous.
Like, not a great whisperer.
She is ridiculous. But yes, I do. I am her. So you can find Kayla on my website, katieray.com. Also Not a Great Whisperer podcast page. Also at The Real K Ray. We're at BKN Creative Studios. This has been great. Do not forget to check out Frozen for my voice as Elsa. Also, Kayla, thank you for being sunny and very collaborative.
Oh, wow. That was good. That was really good.
Thanks for coming on.
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it. And it's been an honor. Thank you.
You're great. Bye.